Okay, so if you've ever stood in a garden center just staring at a massive wall of different soil bags and feeling completely and totally lost, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're going to decode the surprisingly simple secret to the perfect soil for one of the toughest, most popular houseplants out there, the snake plant. And we're going to figure it all out by following one person's very relatable quest for answers. So, meet our hero for today, Reddit user High5High5. They perfectly capture that feeling of, analysis paralysis. You go online, you see these complicated blogger recipes with 5, 6, 7 different ingredients, and you're just looking for a simple, cheap solution that won't leave you with a bunch of leftover bags of stuff. I think we've all been there, right? But when they asked for help, the r/snake plants community on Reddit really came through. They acted like this wise counsel ready to cut through all that online noise. And their very first piece of advice was, well, it was pretty refreshing. And here it is. This is my absolute favorite comment in the entire thread from ridiculous username Snakes Don't Give a. Well, you can probably figure out the rest. It's hilarious, right? But it's also the single most important takeaway. This plant is so incredibly tough that the stakes are way lower than you think. But seriously, please don't actually put it in concrete. So the real point that just echoes through all the advice is this. Just relax. Take a breath. This does not have to be some stressful, perfect, high-stakes operation. Your plant is probably going to be just fine. User TyDurden92 just hits the nail on the head here. You do not need some fancy, bespoke, artisanal soil mix that you slaved over for hours. The real goal here is function, not some 5-star gourmet meal for your plant. Okay, so with that in mind, all of that great community wisdom really boils down to two incredibly simple, straightforward paths for our overwhelmed plant parent. And these two paths could not be easier. Path number 1, the absolute easiest way. Just go buy your pre-made bag of cactus and succulent mix. It's literally designed to do exactly what a snake plant needs. Path 2, the simple DIY. Just take some standard indoor potting soil and some perlite and mix them together, about 50-50. This just gives you a little more control over how light and airy the final mix is. That's it. Those are the two main options. But here's the thing, while those two paths are the simplest, they are not the only ones. And that's the beauty of it. Other people in the community chimed in to show that, hey, their snake plants are thriving in all kinds of different setups. It just goes to show you how forgiving these plants really are. I mean, just look at the variety here. You've got user Dinosaur Fondue who just uses straight up potting soil. TyDurden92 gets a little fancier with compost, bark, and perlite. Shilly Shally adds in some charcoal. And Ditchohan uses a mix that's heavy on sand and gravel. They're all totally different. And you know what? They all work. That's the proof right there that there's no single magic recipe. So if the ingredients themselves don't really matter that much, then what is the secret? What's the one thing that connects all of this good advice? It's the function of the soil, not the specific recipe. And that one critical function is drainage. So let's just be clear on what well-draining soil actually means. It's simple. It's soil that doesn't hold on to too much water for too long. Snake plants, or Sansevieria if you want to be technical, are basically succulents. Their roots are built for dry conditions, and if they sit in soggy, waterlogged soil for too long, they will literally rot. That is the one thing they truly cannot handle. And that's because the soil is only one piece of the puzzle. First, a pot with a drainage hole at the bottom is completely non-negotiable. Second, keeping the pot size kind of snug to the roots prevents huge amounts of soil from just sitting there staying wet forever. And most importantly, how you water matters more than anything. It is so much easier to kill a snake plant with too much love, and by that I mean too much water, than it is with the wrong soil mix. So, after this whole journey through the community's wisdom, what did our original hero, High5High5, actually decide to do? Well, their story has a very clear, very satisfying ending. And there you have it. They chose path number 2, the simple 50-50 mix of perlite and potting soil. It's an easy, effective, and cheap solution, and now they can do it with the confidence of knowing they really can't go wrong. So what does all of this mean for you and your snake plant? We followed one person's story, but the lessons we learned can be turned into a super clear action plan for anyone looking to repot their plant without all that stress. All right, so here it is, all boiled down into 4 simple steps. 1. Don't panic. Remember, these plants are tough. 2. Choose a simple mix. Either grab a bag of cactus mix or do the 50-50 soil and perlite thing. 3. Make sure your pot has a drainage hole. And 4. Water smartly, not frequently. Remember, how you water is more important than any artisanal soil. And that kind of brings us to our final thought here. This whole journey into snake plant soil actually reveals a much bigger lesson, doesn't it? Sometimes the simplest solution really is the best one. It makes you wonder, what's one thing in your own life that you've been overthinking that could probably be a whole lot simpler? It's just something to think about.